Thanks everyone for joining me today. You're about to hear probably a little bit about, I think, the most interesting company at the conference. We certainly have multi-aspects, ranging from asset to technology. We are New York Stock Exchange listed. We bring a lot of unique features to the table. I'm very happy to all of those of you who have stuck around after lunch. It is very hard to follow Rob McEwen and Frank Justra. So those of you who are still finishing lunch, hopefully I can keep your attention for another 15 minutes. But here we go. So we believe we are the supply chain solution for clean metals. Why do we say that? Well, because we bring a lot to the table, as I've alluded to. We have a fantastic nickel asset in Tanzania, and we have a technology solution that really enables a fast-track metal production. So we are newly New York Stock Exchange listed. We began trading on the NYSE as of July 6th. Oops. Anyway, there will be some forward-looking statements in this presentation as well. We have a disclaimer slide as well. Our presentation is posted to our website. Please check that out in your own free time. So, Lifezone Metals, NYSE LZM, started trading in July. We have, this whole solution from mine to finished metal production by the combination of fantastic asset and our hydromet processing technology. Why are we doing all this? Well, I don't really want to get into the nuances of the nickel market right now, but let's say we are answering Elon Musk's call from 2020 where he said, go out and mine more nickel. Get it from anywhere. And we are one of those solutions that has now come to market. As mentioned, we have one of the largest and highest grade nickel sulfide deposits on the planet. And we believe that we can produce nickel with a much lower carbon emissions profile, lower, almost no sulfur emissions, using our patented hydromet technology. We apply our technology through a range of applications from PGM recycling to our own Kabanga project. We operate our project through a partnership with BHP, who has been a fantastic supporter, and we seek to advance the project towards feasibility study. Again, back to our technology. The technology is the core of our business, and we seek to increase the application of our hydromet from metals recovery at Kabanga to other applications like recycling, PGM recycling, and other applications. So let's talk about Tanzania, let's talk about Kabanga. Kabanga is not a new nickel project, it's been known about for a while. It is, however, one of the highest grade undeveloped nickel deposits on the planet. And I can say that kind of unequivocally because we have a defined resource, measured, indicated, and inferred, 26 million tons M&I, grading over 3% nickel equivalent. Now, if we break that down, that's about 2.5% nickel, plus copper and cobalt, plus a significant amount of inferred resources. There's a definitive feasibility study underway right now, which we expect to be complete next year. We pair Kabanga, which is in the far northwest of Tanzania, with what we're calling our Kahama refinery. Kahama will feature our hydromet processing technology. It will take sulfide concentrate from Kabanga using our hydromet process and produce finished nickel, copper, and cobalt at site. This means that we have eliminated the global footprint of shipping nickel concentrates around the planet. We have condensed that process, and now we encapsulate the entire value of that chain from mine site to finished metal production within the country of Tanzania. And then, importantly, again, this lack of shipping around the world, the removal of smelting means that we are producing finished metal with a lot less carbon emissions than you would through traditional processes. So why do we care about Kabanga? Well, Kabanga, as I said, is one of the highest grade and largest undeveloped nickel sulfides. Not only is it a sulfide, it is very high grade. Why is that important? Well, for those who know nickel, we have two different types of nickel. We have class 1 and class 2. Class 2 is your laterite deposits. They are mainly in Indonesia. They are largely dirty. They cannot go directly into battery metals. And so sulfides are uniquely important to the battery chain because we get that more direct approach to clean, pure LME grade nickel. While Kabanga is currently big, it is not fully discovered. We have completed a program of infill drilling to try to bring as much inferred into the M&I categories as possible. Why is that important? Well, it's hugely important as we go through this feasibility study and we look to convert our measured and indicated resources into proven and probable reserves. We've also started an exploration program, stepping out from areas of known mineralization to areas where historic holes have encountered other nickel mineralization. And this Safari Link drill plan really provides the best opportunity to expand the known resources. Let's take a step back and let's talk about the hydromet technology, which is really the core of our company. What hydromet is in contrast to pyromet. So pyromet, for example, which would be traditional smelting, would be you take concentrate, you set it on fire, you release a bunch of CO2 emissions and sulfur dioxide emissions, and eventually you get to a nickel matte or, through refining, a nickel metal. What our hydromet technology allows us to do, and this is sort of very kind of off-the-shelf stuff, but our technology really revolves around the knowledge and the deep institutional experience in designing these flow sheets. And so what we're able to do is take nickel concentrate that would come out of our Kabanga mine, subject it to a process called pressure oxidization, which requires not particularly high temperatures or pressure, to dissolve the metals into solution. Following that, we used pretty standard off-the-shelf solvent extraction and electrowinning to produce nickel cathode, copper cathode, and cobalt at the refinery gate. So we talk a lot about the supply chain solution. It's increasingly important to know where your metals are coming from and how they got there. Tanzania really offers a great kind of encapsulation of the entire process for us, so that when we try to sell our nickel to a automotive OEM or a battery maker, they can audit back to the very source where those nickel units came from. They'll know the ESG credentials behind them, and they'll know the carbon emissions intensity of that product, which is hugely important. Tanzania is developing its infrastructure. It has rail throughout. It is expanding its rail infrastructure. It has new power capacity that's going in. It plans to be a regional exporter of power in East Africa. And then secondly, we have this Kahama refinery site where we will build this hydromet refinery. What's unique about Kahama is it's located at the site of Barrick Gold's former Buzwagi gold mine. And the government of Tanzania has a huge vested interest in seeing that site redeveloped. So the government will declare Buzwagi a special economic zone, and the site is already, hugely linked up with power, transport, rail, all the things we would want to export metals, from the interior of the country to the coast at Dar. Why do we care about this? Well, let's have a look at the nickel cost curve in 2030. This is Woodmac's forecast. Again, we are in the process of the definitive feasibility study now, so these are Woodmac estimates. But you can see that Kabanga would be positioned at the lower end of the nickel cost quartile in 2030. The very low numbers that you see far on the left, that would be nickel coming out of Russia. The big blocks in the middle would represent dirty Indonesian nickel units. So we believe that we will have a very cost-competitive nickel product. More importantly, let's look at maybe not more importantly, but equally important, let's look at the emissions cost profile. This is what our partner BHP cares about. This is what the automotive OEMs care about. This is what we care about, producing this clean, green nickel product. As you can see, Kabanga would be situated at the very lowest end of the carbon emissions intensity per ton of nickel produced. This has huge implications because battery manufacturers, automotives, OEMs are trying to reduce their emissions intensities of their battery packs. The nickel is the single largest source of carbon emissions in that battery pack. What the OEMs would like to do is, if you look at some of the big blocks on the far right, those are the energy-intensive, emissions-intensive Indonesian production, and they could blend that nickel with our green, low-emissions nickel units to bring their overall intensities down. Oops. So let's talk about our partnership with BHP. BHP has invested $100 million into our project. Through that, they have secured a 17% interest in Kabanga Nickel, which is our operating company, and they also own just shy of 2% of our public equity. They have been granted an option to increase their ownership to 61% of our operating company for a look-through interest of 51% direct into the asset. They will have the chance to elect this option following the completion of our definitive feasibility study, which again is expected next year. The other important partner in the project is the government of Tanzania. They have a 16% free carried interest. I would like to say that I guess both of our partners have been hugely supportive of all of our efforts in country, from the government and both BHP, from the local level all the way up to the main government offices. Oops. So let's talk about Tanzania and mining just for a second. Again, they are our project partner. They have formed greater ties with the United States in recent years. Vice President Kamala Harris visited Tanzania in March. And given, I guess, the kind of better global outlook for Tanzania itself, both the ratings agencies, Moody's and Fitch, have upgraded their outlook on Tanzania. Tanzania is, not only, I guess, improving its, GDP and its well-being, their industrial output. They have increased their commitment to mining specifically and are targeting a 10% increase in GDP from the mining sector. We signed a framework agreement with the government in January of 2021, and since that time, there have been 5 special mining licenses granted in Tanzania. There has also been significant investment in the power infrastructure in country, and again, they plan on becoming a regional exporter of electricity. So why hydromet again? This is just to bring it back a little bit. We think we can do things cleaner, greener, with lower emissions. We get to produce a refined metal product on site. It increases, the in-country beneficiation, so we have greater value creation in country, which is a huge win for the government of Tanzania and for us. And we see a great life cycle benefit. There are recycling applications for our technology. And one of the things we are looking at is recycling of catalytic converters from the automotive industry and recovering the PGM metals. So there's huge potential beyond, I guess, the application at Kabanga alone for our technology. And really at our core, we are a technology group, we are metals processors, and we're seeking to apply our know-how and our technology to other applications, whether it's recycling or primary mining. And I guess just to summarize, again, we are Lifezone Metals. We are listed on the NYSE as LZM. We are a new company. Please come talk to us or check out our website. Thank you very much.